I will tell you a secret. For several years, I held something inside me worth more than every house on this street put together. Not gold, not money, something far harder to hold and far easier to lose. The street never slowed down long enough to notice. Housemaids cut between gates with their morning gossip trailing behind them. The vegetable vendor's voice rose and fell over the same 5 vegetables every single day. Scooters coughed black smoke past me before the sun had even properly risen. Inside the house at my back, doors slammed, voices argued over exam results. Someone always seemed to be running late for something. In all that noise, you would have missed him completely. He looked, on the surface, like every other restless young man on that street. Same rushed walk, same tired eyes, same nothing special face. But watch him for long enough, the way I did, and you'd start to notice something odd. He was the only one on that street who wasn't really there. His feet moved through Chennai. The rest of him had already gone somewhere else. I knew where, because I was the only one who knew what he was waiting for. A particular yellow envelope, a particular handwriting, looping and slanted, that spelled out one name I came to know before I knew his. Ronnie. He never said it out loud near me. He didn't need to. Some names don't need a voice. You can feel them in the way a person's whole body turns toward a sound that might be a postman's bicycle bell 3 streets away, growing louder. A rusting metal box bolted to a wall outside a busy house in Chennai, my paint peeling, my little door creaking on a hinge nobody ever oiled. I am the post box. They fell in love in college, a love that outlasted their graduation in 2001. This was before cell phones lived in every pocket. If you wanted to hold on to someone's heart, you had to write it down. Once a month, a letter would come from her. The Indian Postal Service was a creature of beautiful uncertainty, but this boy, this young, desperate lover, had mastered its rhythm. He calculated the exact window of days her letter might arrive. During that window, I had no rest. He would visit me 100 times a day. When the postman's usual hour approached, he would open and close my little door 1,000 times. Creak, clack. He never knew exactly what miracle awaited him inside, but to him, that letter was worth more than the world. Being outside, I weathered every season, and just like the weather, I watched him brave every element for her. During the scorching, humid Chennai summers, I would see him standing near me, his eyes tired, squinting down the road, desperately looking for the khaki uniform of the postman. Above us, the sky always carried that particular Chennai haze, part heat, part dust, part the smoke of 100 kitchen fires. And even through that gray film, he would tilt his head back at night and search for the moon, as if her face was hiding somewhere behind that smog, waiting for him to find it. Then came the monsoons. The sky would break open, washing the streets in heavy rain. He would still come. He would stand in the downpour, gripped by a dual anxiety. Will the postman be delayed? Or worse, will her letter get wet? And oh, the heartbreak when the postman misplaced a letter. I watched him wait for 2, sometimes 3 agonizing days. When the realization set in, I felt his quiet devastation. But his love was stubborn. He would sit down and write a response anyway, replying to an imagined letter, answering the words he hoped she had sent. A month later, when the delayed envelope finally arrived, he would just smile, knowing his heart had guessed right. I noticed the ink, too, over the years. Some months he wrote in deep blue, soft and unhurried, the color of an ordinary, contented day. Other months it turned black, when something heavier sat on his chest, when the words needed more weight to carry them. I couldn't read what he wrote, but I learned to read the color of his ink the way one reads the color of a sky before a storm. And he never sent his letters bare. He folded them with a strange, careful devotion, as if a plain envelope wasn't worthy enough to carry what was inside. To him, even the wrapping was a love letter. It wasn't only words that traveled through me. Sometimes Ronnie's letters carried small treasures, and I would feel them shift inside the envelope before he even tore it open. A slight extra weight, a faint rustle that wasn't paper. A pressed flower, flattened thin between the pages, would fall into his palm. She wrote that she had sealed it with a kiss and wrapped it with love. And he would hold that flattened, faded thing as gently as if it could still bruise. He'd press it to his nose first, searching for a scent long gone, and then to his lips, like he could still taste the kiss she promised was on it. And then there were the greeting cards. Birthdays, anniversaries of the day they first held hands, the day they first said the words out loud. All of it arrived folded inside an ordinary envelope, glittery and a little crushed from the journey, but never less than magical to him. He would prop the card open against my little door and just look at it for a long while before taking it inside. Whole celebrations happened on paper. She would describe the celebration she would do for him. He would write back, describing the hug he wished he could give, the wish he would have whispered into her ear if he'd been standing there instead of me. I watched two people light candles, cut cake, embrace, and laugh. All of it happening only in ink, only in imagination. And yet I never once saw it look small or lesser to him. His eyes on those days had a particular shine, a smile that started before he even finished reading, as if the words themselves were tickling him. If you had opened one of his letters and read only the lines, you would have learned almost nothing. No news, no events, barely a sentence about what his day had actually held. He never wrote about deadlines, fights, money troubles, or which friend had said what. Those things didn't matter enough to spend ink on. What filled the page instead was time itself, not what had happened in it, but what it had felt like to live inside it without her. Some nights, before he picked up his pen, I would watch him sit very still under the streetlight, his eyes somewhere far past the road, past the rooftops, past Chennai altogether. He was listening to something only he could hear, a line from a film song that had drifted out of someone's radio that afternoon, a tune that had lodged itself in his chest and refused to leave because it fit him too exactly to ignore. I held those pages longer than the others before I let them go. Not because they were heavier in my hands. Paper is paper, ink is ink. But because I could feel, even without reading, that these letters weren't reporting his life to her. They were thinking out loud, page after page, hoping she was the only one who'd ever be allowed to listen. And somewhere, in a house far from mine, I imagine she read those same lines twice, maybe 3 times, before folding the letter back the way he had folded it, carefully, like something that might bruise, and understood, without him ever once writing the words plainly, exactly how much of him was missing, while the rest of him went on living without her. Right next to me stood my rival, the neighborhood phone booth. Sometimes the waiting became too much, and he would call her. I would watch from my post, wondering how he managed it. The red numbers on the telephone meter would climb faster than the blink of an eye. Within minutes, his meager wallet would be completely empty. There were always so many more things he wanted to tell her, but time costs money, and he had none to spare. That was when he would hang up and turn back to me. He would take out his pen and paper and finish the conversation. Because on paper, love doesn't run on a meter. I would take those unspoken words, hold them safe in the dark, and wait to send them to her. I want to say something plainly because I watched it for several years, and I know it to be true. In all that bonding, in all those hundreds of letters, I never once saw them truly broken. That doesn't mean it was always smooth. Of course there were issues, differences, confusions that curled around a single misread sentence and grew into something larger than it should have been. They would fight over the moon, and they would fight over the sun, meaning sometimes the fight was over nothing at all, and everything at once. Most of it came down to expectations, and somehow, in his eyes, Ronnie would always fall a little short of them. Not because she failed him, but because love like that keeps raising its own bar. He understood, even in the middle of it, that the moment wasn't really in his favor, that he was perhaps asking for more than was fair. But he'd let himself sulk anyway, what we'd call abhimana, that particular Indian flavor of wounded affection, the kind of sulk you only allow yourself with someone who you know will never actually leave. It wasn't anger. It was almost a small performance of being hurt, just to watch her come running to soothe it. It would stretch across a letter, sometimes two, his words a little shorter, a little more clipped than usual, his blue ink turning to that heavier black. But it never lasted. They always found their way back to peace, sometimes through a long, soft phone call, sometimes through the very next letter, where one of them would finally write the 4 words that fixed everything. And here is the one truth I'm most certain of, after everything I witnessed. This boy could tolerate anything from her. Silence, distance, delay, everything, except her tears. The moment a letter so much as hinted that she had cried, all his sulking, all his stubbornness, all his careful, wounded pride would collapse in an instant. He would melt like butter dropped onto a hot pan, reaching for his pen before the thought even finished forming, desperate to undo whatever had hurt her, however far away she was. I saw all the physical seasons, yes, but more deeply I saw every season of their love. Happiness, sorrow, sadness, madness, devotion, and the aching feeling of departure. I never needed to read the letters to know what Ronnie had written. I only had to look at his eyes. Sometimes, his eyes sparked with a joy that told me they were deeply bonded. Other times, a heavy sadness told me they felt miles apart. I was the sole witness to his most vulnerable moments. I saw him trace her cursive handwriting with trembling fingers. I watched him press the yellow envelope to his lips. And on the hardest days, I felt the tiny, warm drops of his tears fall, mixing with her ink, wetting the paper. It was just me, him, and the letter. Once a year, they would meet, just once. And every detail of that meeting, the dates, the train he would take, the town he would stay in before finally reaching her, the hour she would slip away to see him, all of it was planned, postponed, and replanned entirely through me. It sounds almost reckless looking back. An entire year's worth of longing distilled into a meeting whose every coordinate depended on letters that could arrive late, get soaked in the monsoon, or vanish. One delayed envelope could have meant 2 people standing in 2 different places, missing each other completely. And yet, in several years, it never once fell apart. I used to think that was luck. Now I think it was something closer to providence, as if some higher hand wanted these two together badly enough that it refused to let the postal service, the rain, or distance get in the way. How else do you explain it? Plans this fragile, built on paper this thin, surviving year after year without a single missed meeting. When the day finally arrived, I would watch him leave with a bag packed days too early, checking and rechecking the last letter in his pocket, as if the ink might rearrange itself if he wasn't careful. And when he returned, weeks later, he didn't come back to me first, not for a while. For those first days after seeing her, he didn't need me at all. The ache that usually sent him to my door 100 times a day was, for a short while, finally quiet. Over the years, right before my little metal door, their love matured. The letters transformed. The petty fights and everyday happenings faded, replaced by profound emotions, shared dreams, whispered naughty secrets, and concrete plans for a future together. I wasn't just holding paper anymore. I was holding the blueprint of a life. And then, one day, the final letter arrived. A few days later, a phone call came from the booth. When he stepped out, I couldn't quite read his eyes. They were overflowing with tears, yet shining with an overwhelming, radiant happiness. He looked at me one last time, turned away, and never came back to check my door again. I sat there in the Chennai heat, empty but proud. I later heard the neighbors talking. The boy and his Rani had finally gotten together. I had lost my daily visitor, but I had fulfilled my purpose. I was just a postbox. But for those days, I was the heartbeat of a timeless love story.